Hello, welcome to my latest video on eBay Talk. My name's Stuart. I'm an eBay seller. I've been selling on eBay for 18 years. And I started this channel really just to give some advice on people who are thinking of starting on eBay or already selling, new sellers who probably could do with a few tips. So, what I want to talk about today is feedback and when to leave it. Now, when I first started on eBay, things were very different. For example, sellers could actually leave negative feedback. Well, because of the problem of retaliatory feedback, eBay put a stop to that. So we now have a situation where buyers can leave positive or negative feedback or neutrals. Sellers can only leave positive feedback or no feedback at all. So for many years, I went on the automatic feedback um, system, which means that I leave feedback as soon as the buyer makes payment. Now, this makes a lot of sense because obviously, A, it saves time. It's very time consuming to leave feedback one at a time. It makes sense because it saves time and also because the buyer has paid and they've done what can be expected of them. They've actually paid for the product. That's fine. So, for something like 10 years, that's what I did. And it worked well enough for me. However, I then changed because of the fact that some buyers were cancelling orders and other buyers were returning items for what I considered to be slightly dishonest reasons. I can give you a couple of examples. So first of all, with cancellations, why would I not want to leave feedback for somebody who's positive feedback for somebody who's cancelled? Obviously, if somebody buys a product from me, cancelled it, and I've got to refund, I will lose 30 pence transaction charge. I also feel that somebody who's bought an item and then cancelled is not really a customer. So they've cancelled either because they made a genuine mistake, um, or because they found the item cheaper elsewhere, or maybe some other reason. But whatever that other reason is, that they've cancelled and they've been refunded and it's cost me some money. In my view, it doesn't merit leaving a buyer positive feedback because they've cost me time. My product has been off my eBay shop while the cancellation is going through. So consequently, I've actually changed now to, well, I decided that the best way to address this was to leave bulk feedback once a month, only to buyers who don't cancel. Also on returns. So buyers get the product, and usually with the sort of things that I sell, watch parts, they sometimes make a mistake. That's fair enough. And they've got to return the item. It's not a problem. And they select the option did not fit, or whatever reason, any reason that is not the seller's fault. And for those buyers, I felt, well, okay, they've made a mistake. They've paid the shipping back. Although having said that, in the UK and the EU, um, you have to return the original shipping. Now in America, it doesn't work like that. And if I'm selling to American buyers, I've noticed that when they return a product to me, if it did not fit or it's buyer remorse, I have the option not to refund the original shipping. In the EU and the UK, it doesn't work like that. You have to refund the original shipping. So you will actually lose money if somebody returns a product because they made a mistake. You will actually lose money, and you might want to decide whether you want to leave that person a positive feedback or not. If they've made a mistake, it's cost you money and it's cost you time. Do you want to leave them with positive feedback? Well, it's up to you. But I was taking the view that anybody who returns a product if they've made a mistake, or if they've falsely claimed that I've made a mistake, then my view is that they don't merit positive feedback. If I've made a mistake, it's a different matter. If I've sent the wrong item out or it's arrived damaged, it's not the buyer's fault, then they merit a positive feedback because they've done nothing wrong. So there's that issue on the returns. Now, on eBay, you have to give eBay UK, you have to give 30 days returns. So I devised a system whereby I was going to do bulk feedback after 30 days to see who's going to return items and to see who's done the cancellations. And in addition to that, only leave feedback to people who left me feedback. I started doing this, but quite frankly, I found that it's too time consuming. I liked the previous method of automatic feedback, so I went back to eBay Seller Central on feedback automation, and there's an option there which is not perfect, but I think is as good as you're going to get, and which I would recommend that you accept this option, which is that you leave positive feedback upon receipt of positive feedback from the buyer. I think this is fairly reliable because, well, first of all, to be honest with you, only about 50% of people leave any feedback at all. It used to be a lot higher on eBay. Over the years, it's declined a lot. I'm not too sure why, but I've noticed fewer buyers are actually leaving positive feedback. So it's quite possible that they're indifferent to feedback. And if they're indifferent to feedback, then obviously they won't mind that I don't leave them positive feedback. But if they leave me positive feedback, and well, if they pay and they leave positive feedback, then that's fine. Then they will get positive feedback. It's reciprocal. I think that is the best possible method that you can use because it doesn't cost you any time. You may get the odd. You may occasionally have situations where a buyer's returned an item and left you positive feedback, and under my previous system, you wouldn't have left them positive feedback. But under the new system that I'm recommending, buyers who cancel, who leave and get a refund, are entitled to leave feedback because they paid, even though they've had a refund. And they might well leave you feedback and say, "Oh, had to cancel." And under this system, the automation, they will get positive feedback, which for me, I don't really like it too much because, as I said, I don't like it when somebody cancels because they haven't done their homework normally, and they've kind of wasted my time a bit. It's cost me money, so even if they leave me positive feedback, I don't like it. But the number of hours it takes to leave feedback manually is so many that I'm prepared to swallow that. And I think it's the best way. When I did my previous system where I would leave bulk feedback, another downside with that is that I was finding that customers were contacting me saying, "Why haven't you left me feedback? I've left you feedback. Why haven't you left me feedback?" So obviously that's not very good. But with this system, they will get feedback automatically as soon as they leave feedback. So that problem is solved. Well, that's my view then on feedback. Just to recap, that I recommend that you go for automatic feedback left when the buyer has left you positive feedback. I recommend that you don't go for the option of leaving positive feedback upon payment, because that means everybody will get feedback who pays, even those who unjustly accuse you of sending them the wrong item, for example, or not as false, not as described cases and cancellations. So I wouldn't go for that. It's up to you. Do what works for you. But I personally favor the system whereby buyers get positive feedback once they've left positive feedback. So let me know what you think about that, and subscribe to my channel if you want. And if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Okay, see you for now.